Welcome back to my channel. My phone's on 17%, so let's get this fucking story time out. How's my phone on 17% when I charged it all day? That doesn't even make any sense. Okay, couple things. Number one, the crush that I told you about on the 4th of July has now blocked me again on Instagram. Mind you, I haven't talked to him, haven't seen him, nothing. He's just blocked me again. I'm convinced that, like back in the day when they used to have like those like diaphragms or those stories about like the boy in the sandbox that pushes the chick and like tells the chick how much he hates her, but he really like fucking loves her because that's his first crush ever in life, in the sandbox. I'm convinced that me and him are in the sandbox together, and he hates me so much because he actually truly actually might love me. I'm just gonna like literally, that's what's going on. He loves Bias. I don't care what nobody says. Any person that can go out of their way and block an individual that they're not even speaking to means, one, you're thinking about me. Out of nowhere, I have crossed your membrane. And as you're crossing my membrane, the thought of me has gotten you so fucking uncomfortable to the fact that you have to like literally type in my Instagram name, XXO Danielle, by the way. Swallow podcast too. But you gotta type in my name, look me up, and then hit block, which means that you are so in love with me that you can't even look at anything that I post, because if I post anything, you're going to want to see me, but you can't tell me you see me because you don't have the balls to tell me you see me. So therefore, I have taken over your entire well-being. But that's just me. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he blocked me because he generally hates me, but I mean, we just agreed that we were cool. So if we agreed that we were cool, why exactly are you blocking me? Exactly. Anyway, back to more important things. It's crazy. I swear motherfuckers be doing this so that you be talking about them. Like, so you could be like, oh my god, like I literally spent the whole night wondering why this motherfucker blocked me. Well, he blocked me because he loves me. But I'm actually talking about him in this video because I love him too. But I don't actually love him because I know absolutely nothing about him. But he intrigues me so much, and I know that I intrigue him too. And it's just like we're in this fucking circle, but why can't we burn this circle together? Because we both can't we both don't want to put our egos to the side to be like, hey, listen, this is how I feel in this very moment. No one has the balls to do that. So, besides the point, y'all wanted me to do a video on that one time I took Molly. So I'm going to do a video about that one time I took Molly, but I didn't actually take Molly. Somebody actually put it in my champagne glass, but we'll get to that. So, as I was dating CT, yes, CT from the real world, Christopher Tamburello, he had this friend, his name was Beep. He's been in trouble with the law, so I'm not going to put his name in this video, but his name is Beep. And for some reason, along the way of me and Chris having a relationship, he has envisioned himself in a relationship with me, which is okay. I have been the prodigy of many men that have been like, I love her. And I'm like, you don't. And they're like, I do. I'm like, you don't. And they're like, I do. And I'm like, no, you don't love me. I don't love you. And they're like, I do love you and you love me too. I'm like, no, bro. I for sure don't love you. And I'm just going to keep telling you you don't love me until you fucking leave me alone. Besides the point. He was in that category of men that have convinced themselves that he loves me and I love him too. And I remember one time me and Chris were fighting, CT, and I came home from work at like 5 p.m. Oh my god. Excuse me, a bitch is fucking tired. I came home from work at like 5 p.m. and there was a bouquet from Edible Arrangements And it was all white chocolate covered strawberries, because anyone that knows me knows I hate chocolate. I just don't like chocolate. But I love white chocolate covered strawberries. Oh my god, white chocolate covered strawberries are my weakness. They're my weakness, I tell you. My weakness. So, I come home. I'm trying to gain weight. Because I'm trying to get my PBL redone. And as I'm sitting here in my underwear, I'm like, wow, a bitch is gained weight. Oh, my phone is dying. Okay, let me hurry up and finish this. Okay, so anyways, I come home, white chocolate covered strawberries. And there was a personal note made out to me from Martin that said, you need to get over CT, I will treat you much better. And of course I'm in love with CT, so I screenshot it and I sent it to him and I said, yo, your homeboy needs to get fucking punched in the face. And he's like, yeah, punch him. I'm like, you ain't gonna do shit. Mind you, CT didn't do shit. So later down on the line, CT's like, come out with me tonight. I'm like, okay, we go to this club in Manchester. He's flirting with every bitch at the bar. And I'm trying not to commit murder sober. I'm like, this motherfucker has got me fucked up. Yeah, I love that motherfucker. And he pissed me off all the fucking time. Anyway, so he leaves and his boy Martin, oh shit, his boy, beep. His boy, beep. Said, can I get you a glass of champagne? I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. So he gets me a glass of champagne, I drink it. And I go to the bathroom to call my cousin, aka not really my cousin, but my best friend, because I've been friends with her forever, A-Marie. So I'm talking to her on the phone in the bathroom, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and I feel like as if I've left my body, and I'm looking at myself from a third-party perspective. And I'm like, bitch. And I'm explaining to her what's going on. It was almost as if I was in another dimension. I was not me, and me was not me, and she was not me, and I was not her. Like, it was just not, nothing was okay, all right? Nothing was okay. And she's like, oh my god, someone gave me Molly. I was like, well, I didn't willingly take Molly because I've never done drugs besides marijuana. And even at that, I only do marijuana every once in a while. So I go out and I step out into the dance floor and it's like ba-doop, 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 because CT took me to like a techno fucking place. Of course he did. And I'm like, ugh, this motherfucker would take me to a techno place. But as I'm in the techno place, I feel my body moving, but I'm not moving. Do you know what I mean? It's like, it's almost as if the Molly like made me like, I was like moving with the beat. I'm like, holy shit. And then all his friends, mind you, this motherfucker's still at the bar flirting with other hideous bartender that works in Manchester, New Hampshire, is serving us drinks. So I'm in the VIP section with all his friends, and his friends are like, you just gotta keep moving. So I'm like, moving, and I feel like I'm dying. Like, I literally feel, like, anytime I think of this night, I feel like I'm having severe anxiety. I'm like, oh my god, I'm dying. As I tell the story, I'm dying. So I walk up to the bar, and I go, we need to leave, and you need to drive home. I know you've been drinking, but I need you to drive me home. And he knows I'm fucked up. Like, this man has been in my life. We have been friends for like a decade. He knows that I'm on drugs, and I don't want to be on drugs. He knows that one, I'm on drugs, and two, I don't want to be on drugs. Three, get me the fuck home before I fucking kill you, because I am going to kill you, Chris. I'm going to fucking murder you. So he looks at the bartender, he's like, get me a whole jug of water. I'm like, yeah, get me that fucking water, Chris. CT, get me that fucking water. So he gives me that water, I chug it, and this bitch behind the bar is like looking at him. I'm like, do you want to die? Do you want to die today? Stop looking at my man. Why are you Chris, why is she looking at you? And he's like, oh, this bitch is crazy. I'm like, yeah, I'm fucking crazy. Why is this bitch looking at you? Why is she fucking looking at you, Chris? Why is she looking at my man? So Chris drives me home, and as we're driving home, I am like so on Molly, and I'm like, wee, play that music, you know? Don't ever take Molly, kids. And then he like fingers me in the car, and I'm like so horny, because Molly makes you feel everything. It's like the purest form of ecstasy. And I've never taken ecstasy before, but I understand why people might have done it in the past. So I'm like, and he's like fingering me, and we get home, and like we're locked out because I lost my keys. So I call Gabby. I'm like, Gabby, you need to let me and Chris in. Please let me and Chris in. So she walks downstairs. She goes, are you on drugs? And Chris is like, she's on drugs. And I'm like, no, Chris, I'm not on drugs. And Chris is like, she's on drugs. And I'm like, Gabby, I'm not on drugs. And Gabby's like, you're on drugs. And I was like, yes, fuck you, Chris. And he's like, all right, fuck me, let's go upstairs. So we like go to my room, and when I tell you, like, he even poured it came to a point where he poured vitamin water on his hard dick. So because I was so dehydrated from taking Molly, that he knew that I couldn't just suck his dick without some like water. Like, I needed water. It was almost as if we were in a desert and I needed water for his dick. So he poured like vitamin water, because vitamin water was cool at some point, and he poured vitamin water on his dick, and I sucked the vitamin water off his dick, and then we fucked for like 8 hours straight, and then I slept till like maybe 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and then my dad woke me up and was like, we're going to your grandmother's. And I was like, I don't think I'm gonna go. And Chris was like, I think I'm going home. And I was like, yeah, Chris, it's pretty much about time you go home. So he leaves and he goes home, and my dad was like, you did drugs last night, huh? And I was like, no, Dad, I didn't do drugs. And he's like, you did do drugs. And I was like, no, Dad, I didn't do drugs. You're going to your grandmother's. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm going to my grandmother's. So I go to my grandmother's, and I'm so, I don't know if any of y'all have taken Molly before, but that shit fucks you. It like literally takes you back about a whole decade. Like, I didn't live these 5 fucking minutes. I lived the past 1700 minutes. So as I'm catching up with everybody else, I'm really in the past tense. I'm not in the future. If that makes any sense to you. Basically, I don't feel good and I want to go home. So I slept the entire time I was at my grandmother's. I went home and I fell asleep, and the next day I woke up and my dad was like, so you want to talk about how you did drugs? And I was like, Dad, I didn't do drugs. And he's like, you did do drugs. And I'm like, Dad, I didn't do drugs. And he's like, you did do drugs. And I was like, you're right, Dad, I did do drugs. But it wasn't Chris's fault. It was Beep's fault. He put in my champagne. And that was the time I took Molly.